just watching my partner being intimate with other people, not in like a jealousy sense. I just find my partner sexy and I want to appreciate them being appreciated as well, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm.
it's not because I feel ashamed, like, oh no, you're making me feel small. It's more so if I find you beautiful and I enjoy having sex with you, I'm probably going to find it just as sexy if you're having sex with someone else.
Welcome to Butch Queen After Dark. I'm your host, David Brandon, and this is the podcast where we get nasty, freaky, disgusting, and messy without apology. Tonight's guest is someone very special. You know him, I know him. He's a content creator, spicy and not, a commentator, and honestly, the Wendy Williams of black gay porn. If there's tea, he gonna know about it, okay? And we gonna be sipping on it. But he's also lived it. He creates spicy content and has worked with some of the most talked about names in the industry. Although he's on his way to retirement in his 20s. Must be nice. Must be nice. Please welcome to Moreno Favorito, Nico Aesthetics.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Such a wonderful, wonderful intro.
You're very welcome. It is all true. I had to practice how to say tu moreno favorito a couple
Hmm.
times. So thank you for coming back. I had you as a guest back when I was doing live streams on Instagram. So this is a
Yes.
great reconnection, and let's see what you've been up to. So tell us. You've already told us before, but tell us about another sexual awakening that you've had in your life.
Mm.
And it can
Sexual
be the same
awakening.
one. It could be the same one you said before if you
I
want.
actually don't recall what I said before. But actually, I would say my sexual awakening, I'd narrow it down to like the first body that I recognized by name. It was actually a straight performer named Mikey Butters, I think. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, say it again, Mikey.
Butters. It's like Mikey Buddters.
Okay, okay, Mikey Butters. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
no, and his body was tea. His body was fire. So it's
okay.
just from there, the way that he was going with it, the energy that he brought to the film, that was my first actor I'd say I started to recognize by name.
Interesting. Okay, okay. And what about his body? What does he look like? Describe him.
He is brown skinned. He is usually coiffed hair, chiseled features, and his body was just immaculate. Like the big pecs, the abs, the tight but perky butt, and the thick thighs, and all on a straight performer. It threw me. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can get into this. Yeah.
I'm looking at Mikey Butters right now. Mikey
Hmm.
Butters can get it. Mikey
Yeah.
Butters can get it. Okay, so this was your. You look short too. Wonderful. Oh, look, you and I like a short king.
Well,
Five
what
five,
about
5'4".
you? What was one of your first awakenings?
Wow, no one has ever asked me the question back. Wow. Great question. One of my first sexual awakenings, I would say, I'm trying to match yours. So like a performer I saw. Okay. So here it is. So I used to, hey, dad, if you're watching, this is something I never told you. I don't think my dad's watching. My dad had porn, right? My dad had straight porn.
Hmm.
A lot of dads do. And I found his porn drawer. It was in like the bottom of this file
Mm.
cabinet. And it would have a whole bunch of magazines, which I started looking at. I would look at the girls in the magazine because I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
Hmm.
And then I discovered he had tapes, like VHS tapes. So
Mm.
what I would do was I would rent his tapes, right?
Hmm.
I would go upstairs, I would take out a tape, I would check it out in my head, right? I would have it for a week, and then I'd
Hmm.
come back and return it, and I would get another tape. So I always had one tape at a
Okay.
time because I didn't want him to know that I was looking at his porn,
Hmm.
and I figured he wouldn't notice. Anyway, there was this porn star. Actually, what happened was I got older. I started going to friends' houses. I had gay friends at this time. And
Hmm.
my gay friend wanted to see some of my porn. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring my dad's tape. So I brought one of my favorite tapes.
Hmm.
And my friend was older, so he knew the porn stars. And he was like, oh, that's Black Superman. And I was like,
Superman.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be hard to find now, like Black Superman, porn star from the early 90s.
Right.
But yeah, like this guy named Black Superman, slender, tall, actually not really my type now, but like then, was a
Hmm.
beautiful black man I could look at, and yeah, I would rub it out to him. Yeah.
I definitely feel you on that one. I found my for a moment I lived with my grandpa and my grandma, and I found
Mm.
my grandpa's stash of Playboys, but he also had those sex toy tapes that shows you how to use it in bed. So basically, free porn.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta find a way. You gotta rent them tapes.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
What's the freakiest thing you've done since we last spoke?
Since we last spoke, I would say so. I'm actually about to in June. I'm moving in with one of my work husbands. His name is Ron.
Okay.
We tend to tag team bottoms. So we recently did that with someone who was a mutual friends of benefits, and it was pretty lit. It was pretty lit. And it's funny because when we told our mutual friends of benefits that we're moving in together, they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be a lot easier. It's a lot simpler to like pan." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah."
I love that. And I have lots of questions about your work husbands later. Um, so yeah, I'm happy you brought that up. I'm so happy you brought that up. Good.
Of
Okay, I
course.
love that. That sounds really freaky, really fun, and really frequent. Like you can do that
Mhm.
often. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'd say even like right now, it's like every 4 to 6 months. Yeah.
Okay. Once every 4 to 6 months. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, what is your current sexual fantasy?
I was actually just talking about this with a friend. I want to lightly get into BDSM, but I want it to be in the less painful but more essentially erotic way. Think Janet Jackson with the blindfold and the candle wax. I want to try something like that, but it has to be with someone I trust.
Copy. Okay. You want feathers, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Light bondage. Ain't nobody
Hmm.
hurt, but there are some dynamics going on there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No pain, but just
No
powerful
pain.
sensations. Yeah.
Yes, no pain but powerful sensations. That's said so well. And that makes sense for you because I know last time we spoke or the time before we spoke, we talked about you bottoming. And
Right. Right.
you
Yeah.
said you were a 4 out of 10 bottom, right? And then I spoke
Yeah.
to you again. I think you said you were a 5. You were a 5. Are
Hmm.
are we at a 6? Are we at a 6?
I would say yes. We're at a six. Not be it's because the work husbands and I we basically did a three-way flip scene, and one of my friends who bottoms more regularly taught me how to prepare for bottoming. So imagine me cleaned out, dieting properly. I'm ready for the day full of adventure that I'm about to get into, and my friend told me to put a butt plug in and drive your way to the collab. But what
Yes.
he didn't realize, I don't have a car in New York City. So imagine me
On the
on the
train.
subway with a butt plug up my ass. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I imagine that there are more men riding the train with butt plugs up their ass than you would think.
Then you would think, honestly.
Yeah. And what did that butt plug do for you when you were ready to
Honestly,
bottom?
by the time I got into the apartment, it had made me open up enough that I could properly take it in. Because I feel like my issue with bottoming is usually in the very beginning where you're super apprehensive and tense. That's the hardest part for me
Yeah.
for people
Yeah.
to get in. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and you find that when you are loosened up, you do enjoy it.
Yes. So basically, everybody knows the sphincter is a muscle. You kind of have to train it like any other muscle. So
Mhm.
I realized if I keep going from not bottoming for 6 months and then taking like a 7 to 8 inch dick, it's gonna be incompatible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's
Yeah.
gonna hurt your precious butthole, and we have to keep that, right?
Right.
You only get one. You only get one. Those are delicate tissues, and we need to treat them right. And if we want it to get used and abused, we have to treat it right. So I'm glad. Were you now? Was it a dilator? Was it a butt plug? And what was it made of?
I believe it's a silicone base because I have to use water based lube for it.
Okay,
But it is a weighted butt plug that goes up to three sizes. So you basically work yourself up to the size that you need.
got it. Okay,
Sorry.
weighted. Tell me about the
Yes.
weighted part.
So it's basically weighted so that it forces it to slightly ease out. So you have to keep it in. So not only are you expanding, but you're practicing with movement.
Hey, I'm gonna have to get that. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
get one of those. I have one. Hold on, I think I have it right here.
Hmm.
I have one, but it's glass.
Mm.
Yeah, people get very scared of the glass.
I was fearful, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if have you ever seen One Man, One Jar?
I have. That's why I was fearful.
Yeah, yeah. Did you know that that video was staged?
Really?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
serious?
Yes,
I
yes,
had no idea.
yes. It was staged. I think I learned that much later after I was traumatized for years thinking about glass in that man's ass. But these are pretty good. They don't break. They're pretty sturdy. You can heat
Mm.
them up. So like if they're like a little cold, you can warm them up.
Mm.
And for me, they're very slippery. Like they don't slip right in, but they go in a lot easier than silicone for my body. So I do like
Mm.
these, but I want to try something weighted. I think that will help me too.
I might try those then because that's also I don't really like the friction of the silicone, so I might try that.
Yeah. Yeah, put a lot of lube on it. It's just soup goes right up in there.
Mm,
Okay, so I asked on my Instagram. I asked this way too late. I asked like a half hour ago if anybody had any questions for you, and one person did
gosh.
have one, and that question was, how would somebody that does not do porn get with you?
Oh,
See, that wasn't too bad,
so
right?
no, it wasn't. I was expecting like a curveball, but
Mm, nope.
I'd say especially because I'm retiring soon. I honestly haven't dated that much in the industry.
Mm,
I think I dated. Let me not put.
say the
um,
names.
uh, I mean, Brandon Carson and I briefly talked. I wouldn't say dated, but we talked.
Really? Oh, I love Brandon. I love that. Okay, that's cute.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
no,
go
it
ahead.
was right after our scene, but it's just I live in New York City. He lives in Atlanta, so it didn't really,
Copy.
you know.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'd say I've only dated two performers. I actually tend to meet people out while I'm like having drinks or watching movies or going to social events. That's where I tend to actually meet people, and they usually don't expect me to be a content creator, so I have to tell them after the fact because they follow me. They're like, "Oh my god, I never imagined seeing all that." Because most people seem to think that content creators are always like hypersexual and horny, but I just come off as as me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're a great example of content creators are people, are humans, right? Very regular, degular. Like I know you do your spicy shit, but then you're also like into Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that,
Yes,
right?
yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what is?
Dungeons and Dragons, that's a good question. Dungeons and Dragons is a role-playing game that I have played since high school. I started in like sophomore year of high school, so I was originally the dungeon master, who is the person that creates the story and picks the battles and all that such. I was the dungeon master for a long time, then my friend Dave took over. But it's just a game where you create your own character, you get a plethora of races to choose from, classes, you just get to be yourself. Actually, a lot of queer
Mm,
people tend to like Dungeons and Dragons because it is role playing as who you would want to be, your best
yes.
version.
Yes, yes. I love that. I actually, at my job, I work at a community center, and there are two people that used to come in literally at 10 in the morning and play Dungeons and Dragons every single day behind my desk. And I loved it for them, not for me.
Hmm. Right.
It was like they was acting as the witch and acting like a wizard and a
Oh, you
gargoyle.
have to do the voice every time,
They were
the
doing the
character voices.
voices.
You have to.
It pained me because I was like, you know what? They're having so much fun, and I'm so happy for them. But I got to get this goddamn work done.
Understandable.
But I love it. Different strokes for different folks. Cool. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your work husbands a little bit, right?
Yes.
So first, define work husband. What is a work husband to you?
Well, our group, we're the work husbands. It's me, Ron, should I say their full porn name? Me, Ron Peraltax, Tony Bromo, and Rio Grande. And we're
Okay.
essentially, Ron originally brought us all together for like his gangbang scene because he insisted that he needed a gangbang scene in his repertoire. And he told us, oh, but I want it like Brazilian style. So, like a deep pounding. And me, I'd only slept with Ron like solo before. So when it first began, side tangent, I'm so sorry when it
It's
first
okay.
began, they were like going at it. I'm like, oh my God, they are just, they roughing him up. So I had to get my mind into it and then I had to get into it. Point is, that's how we all met. And we
Mm,
just became friends from there. And we've
hmm.
become very good friends. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I mean, it seemed these are work husbands just like anybody else would have, right? So like if
Hmm.
I, work it down at the office and I see this girl, we're always hanging out, what I'm saying, we eat lunch together, that's my work wife, right? So these
Hmm.
are your closer friends in the industry that you are working with, but also friends with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause
Okay.
I'm friends with a lot of performers, especially if we've worked together. That means I've gotten a decent enough feel for you. But
Mm-hmm.
I say I talk to them all day, every day. It's because we do
Mm,
things like game nights or we go out to the movies, we go out to eat.
yeah.
It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Do people have a misconception about creators that all they're doing is just fucking? Like y'all don't do anything else?
Unfortunately, but I also feel like that's the fantasy of it. They think
Mm,
they're always horny. And I think this is my first friend dynamics where I also have sex with them. It's
okay.
not as often off camera, but it does happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a new feel for me.
Yeah. How how is it dealing in that dynamic, having sex with people that you also consider friends? Was that always easy for you? Is that something you had to ease into?
Um, Honestly, to this day, it's still only them, but it's been interesting. I wouldn't say there's been a lot of conflict, let's say emotionally, for example, because in, let's say, an actual relationship, you would get jealous and such. But I've recently tried dating. It wasn't successful. I've tried dating. Ron has recently tried dating. Tony, he's doing his thing. I'm not going to put all their business out there. Point is,
Sure.
yeah, it's like we're still allowed to romantic interests elsewhere. We're just friends.
Yeah, yeah. And that makes a
Mhm,
lot of sense, right? The connection is the work, is, I'm sure supporting each other through the work, being friends through
mhm.
the work, leading on each other, not being judged, right? You're with people that understand you, they're similar to you. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Are there any rules in the work husbandry? Any rules?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, no. If anything, we just confide in each other a lot. So I don't think that anybody's ever given a rule. No.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I didn't want to apply that it was like this strict thing, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So so obviously you met them, right? You didn't know them before, and then y'all became friends, and this whole work husband thing happened. How do you approach someone you're interested in now?
That's a very funny thing. And it's so funny because I made that joke with Ron because we're moving in together. I'm like, dating is gonna be a nightmare living with you. For the sole fact that, I'm understanding. I'm not obtuse, like, girl, so you're friends with someone you're fucking. I'm like, I
You're
understand. I
and you
understand.
live together?
And you live together. It's like, girl, no, I get it. Yeah, for real. But
That
so
might be
far it's
rough.
been interesting. Since
Yeah.
I think I've talked about it on YouTube and on Instagram. Most people that are interested in me understand who they are when they see Ron or Tony, or even Rio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have to
That
always
makes sense.
reassure them, we're not dating. Trust me. I'm
Yeah.
very like, I'm one of those people when I'm interested in somebody, especially since I've been doing OnlyFans, I prefer to just lay it all out. Let's just get it all out there so there's no reason to lie.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what if they're not in the equation, right? Just you're
Mhm.
out for one night and you want to approach someone. How are you approaching people in the club, at the party, at the beach? How you getting a number?
I'm actually so I'm nice and goofy like in general, but I lock in. I log in when I'm flirting. So when I want somebody, it's so funny because my friends are always like, "How did you just go up and talk to him?" I'm like, "If I want a nigga, I'm going to get." Can I say
That's right.
that?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, please. Nigga, nigga,
But yeah,
nigga. Yeah.
right. That's why I'm like, I'm very direct. If I want somebody, I walk up to them and be like, "Hey, how you doing? What's your name?" Da
Yup.
da 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 da. I've actually
Yeah.
even grown past like the age of pickup lines. I'm just like, I think you're mad pretty, like stuff like that. Like I'm very direct. So if
Yes.
I'm interested, you'll know I'm interested.
Okay, so you didn't give us a pickup line, but you gave us like a little bit of a pickup line, like you're pretty. What are other things that you would say when picking folks up? What kind of compliments you giving out?
I mean, I tend to, first and foremost, you have to be a gentleman. So if I'm really drunk, I'll be like, blow a kiss. It usually brings them in. But when I'm interested and I'm like feeling them and I can tell they're feeling me, I will put a hand on your lower back just to make sure
Ah,
that you know I'm not trying to grab your ass, but I'm also wanting you to
yes.
feel secure, like in the way I'm holding you.
Yes.
So,
I am respectful. I'm right above the ass. I ain't there
mhm.
yet,
No,
but
but that's the
yeah,
funny
okay.
part. Cause gaming, I remember one time I was talking to this dude at the club and I put my hand on his lower back. We were talking. He was like, "That's not my ass." I was like, "Oh, well,
Come on, I'm
yes.
about to say they're
Well,
gonna
yes."
move it to your ass. Yeah, they're gonna move it. Yeah, let them move it. That's a great way. Yeah, just set the tone. Here it is. If you want to go lower, you let me know.
Hmm.
Okay. So so you mentioned blowing a kiss in the middle of a club. You will blow a kiss at someone?
Yes, yes, yes. It's so funny because I think it was Barcelona, and one of my friends that I was out with, he was like, "No, no, 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 trust me, you have to do this." And I saw him do it to like three guys, and it worked every time. I'm like, oh my god! So I remember I tried it, and it's true.
Men will fall at something like that. A gay man will fall. Something that I will do. I haven't done it in a while, but something I will do that did not work one time. Because it is very direct and it is a command. And if you're not feeling me, you're definitely not gonna do it. And it's
Hmm.
simply looking at someone and saying, "Come here, come here, just come here." You 9 times out of 10, the niggas come out. The niggas come here.
They do.
But
They
that one
do.
time, yeah,
Oh no, that's I can't
Yeah.
imagine it because I've done that before. I'm like, come here. No.
Yeah, that one time they be like, no, and no shade, that gets me up. If you deny me, I
Right.
love it. Made me look dumb, like made me look like a fool, made me look like I'm begging, like maybe I have a humiliation kink. I
I
don't
was
know,
about
but
to
like
say
deny
no.
me. Maybe I kind of like it. I kind of like when someone's like, no, like work for it. And I'm like, okay, I will try
Mm,
something else. I love that. Yeah.
mm,
But I love the blowing the kiss. I might use that. I might use that one. Okay. So that's how you're picking folks up. How
mhm.
are you rejecting people? Because I know you get hit up a lot. So how's the rejection go?
I tend to I kind of let silence be the answer, if that makes sense. I know that probably sounds harsh. I don't like being mean. So, for example, like if somebody walks up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I really appreciate that."
And listen, listen, everybody out there. If you compliment someone and they say thank you, period, take the note. Take the note.
That's. I hope that didn't come off shady because I really do be like, "Thank you so much,"
No,
because I want people to say like me. I appreciate it, but you know.
no. That is what you're supposed to do. I think what happens is we turn into people pleasers, right? And we're like,
Mm,
thank you, you too. And I don't believe that. Now I'm going home
mm,
with somebody I don't like, right? Now I'm having sex with
mm-hmm,
someone I don't like, and I'm gonna ghost them tomorrow. Now he's gonna be upset. I'm gonna regret my night, right? I'm never gonna go to
mm-hmm.
that club again. Like these little things matter. You saying thank you, period, saves you from all that drama,
True.
right?
Very, very true.
Yeah,
And that's the
yeah.
sad part because a lot of people, I mean, we know men can be persistent, but it is very like, when you push it into the thank you, you too, and it goes further and further, it is draining. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, just let it go. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
you too. I recently, someone, someone asked to have sex with me recently, and it was someone that I knew had liked me, and I think I had been stringing them along, like saying, "Oh, no, no," like just being very coy and not really being direct.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, they were like, "Hey, can we have sex?" And I said, "I don't see you like that, but thank you." Right?
Mm-hmm.
They responded, they said, "That was the nicest rejection I've ever gotten." And I said, "Oh, was it? Good. I'm glad because no harm, no foul. I still see you as a
Mm-hmm.
friend. I still want to hang out. I still want to have sex with you. And that's okay. Like, we don't have
Mm-hmm.
to do this whole song and dance." So, yeah.
I agree. And that's another thing. I wish a lot of people understood that it's okay to not want to engage because a lot of people feel pressured, especially in a community where your friends could also possibly be partners. Like if you're not feeling it, you could just put
Yes.
your foot down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much easier. You will move on to the next stage so much faster.
Mhm.
So, how do you handle rejection? Actually, tell me about the last time you got rejected. Who's rejecting you?
I be taking my L's in silence. Let me think. It was the last time I got rejected. It's because I'm not to be like, oh my god, nobody rejects me. It's more so I rarely shoot my shot. So I usually let people
Okay.
approach me first. That's why I'm like, when's the last time I
Okay.
got rejected? Oh, I remember
Okay.
I was in the
Okay.
club. I was in the club and I
Okay.
saw this fine man. I'm like, oh, he good. He looked good. So I walk up to him. I'm like, what's good? He looked me up and
Yeah.
down. I said, my name is Nico. What's your name? He said something. I was like, cool, cool, cool. You come here often? And I could tell that I was like pulling it out of him, but he was entertaining it until I was like, oh, so do you have a man? He was like, yeah, no, that's my boyfriend. And the man was just staring me down. I'm like, you could have started off with that, but so.
That's not fair. That's not
Hmm.
fair. He could have
Hmm.
said that in the beginning and he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was
Exactly.
doing. And no shade, he might have known exactly who you were as well, right? And been like, this Nico Aesthetic is trying to get me, and my man's right here, and all my friends said, oh, I'm gonna let him try,
Hey,
and then I'm gonna
yo.
reject him, and then I'm gonna have a story at the end of the night. No shade. That's what these girls do.
That could because yeah, no, that might be a possibility.
Yeah. Now, what's a way you would prefer to be rejected?
Just directly. I don't like leaving room for like ambiguity. So if
Yeah.
I'm interested and I shoot my shot, just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not interested," or "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in a relationship." You don't even have to say I'm sorry. You can just be like, "Oh, I'm not interested." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
it's that simple."
Yeah. Excuse me. I think that's really important. The part where you said you don't have to say sorry because what are we sorry
Hmm.
for? Like you're
Exactly.
actually saying I'm sorry for you that you can't have me. Like Who
Mm,
cares? Like, hey, I don't like you. Let's end it here. Let's be friends. Let's play pinball. Let's play something else. Let's do something else, you know?
true.
Easy.
True, true, true.
Easy. Okay, so let's get into a couple of your kind of we discussed that already. Oh, I know what I'm gonna talk about. Tell me about cuckolding. Someone told me that you want to be a cuck. What is
Did I
this?
tell you that on this last live?
Yeah, I read. I said, oh, well, we gotta talk about that.
Cuckolding is essentially watching your partner have sex with other people. I noticed that that was a fantasy of mine. But in the past, because when I've dated in the past, it's been traditional, except for this most recent one. But that was like a situationship and not like a full on relationship. So just watching my partner being intimate with other people, not in like a jealousy sense. I just find my partner sexy, and I want to appreciate them being appreciated as well. If that makes sense. Like
Mm.
it's not because I feel ashamed. Like, oh no, you're making me feel small. It's more so if I find you beautiful and I enjoy having sex with you, I'm probably going to find it just as sexy if you're having sex with someone else.
Okay, okay, okay. I don't know. I don't know if this is a cuck because
Mm,
only and it might be. It absolutely might be. I could be wrong. I'm just
mhm. I mean,
theorizing here.
if you have like a more accurate detail of what it is, so I can search this up on the internet for research purposes.
Yeah, no, I say that because I think cucks do want to feel humiliated. They want to feel like
Mm.
someone is taking something from them, right? Like
Would it be a
you're taking my
voyeur?
manhood. I think yeah, I think a voyeur, and I think what I don't know what it would be called, but have you heard the word compersion before?
No. What is that?
Ah, okay. This is such a great moment. So compersion is when you feel happy that your partner is with someone else, right? It is
Mm.
I think it's on a spectrum. Like sometimes I'm in high compersion, sometimes I am not.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But if you are watching your partner be joyous in the sex that they're having,
Hmm.
you're happy about that. Like, look how happy he is. Look how much he's enjoying that. That's turning me on. That's making
Hmm.
me more happy. And I don't actually have to be involved. But the
Hmm.
fact that you put it together makes you even more happy, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think that and it could be a cuck, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely hearing you're in compersion when you're seeing your partners do this.
Yeah, yeah, no. I feel like that's also why I enjoy like the quote unquote work husband dynamic because they're my friends. And since it is an intimate friendship, even for example, like when Ron and I were having our threesome, he was like, no, I just want to watch for a second. He just watched. Like it's
Yeah.
just interesting to see someone I care about enjoying themselves. Kind of
Yes.
like if you got your friend like a gift and you're like, oh my God, I love Cinnabon, but it's just butt
Yes.
cheeks instead.
Cinnabon cheeks. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I explain being poly to folks like that all the time. We're having an open relationship. You know, like you have activities with your friends and you want to give your friends presents and do nice things for your friends. And sometimes that thing is sex. And that's
Hmm.
all it is, right? So that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I wish that for you. I hope that you get to experience that. I'm gonna call it cuck Persian. That's what I'm gonna call it. Cuck
Persian.
Persian.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, cuck Persian. Yes. So please report back on that. Okay. Couple more questions, and then I want to play a game with you. You are over 6 feet, right? You're 6'2"? Six
Yes.
one, 6'2"?
Six
Yep,
two.
6'2", right? Masculine, muscular. You have a very big presence. But knowing
Mhm.
you and seeing your content, you can be submissive. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
naturally, I am very submissive. It's just
Yeah.
I'm very opinionated, if that makes sense. Like I'm submissive, but opinion it's so interesting. So for example, one time I work in nightlife, I brought home another person who works in nightlife, very much stronger personality. And when we
Mm.
walked into the living room, my roommate was in there and he was talking to me. And the guy said, okay, Nico, let's go. And he walked back into my room and I said, okay. And I just turned around and walked behind him. And my roommate to this day just uses that to tell me, no, you really are submissive. And I'm just naturally that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You like being you. Sometimes we need to be told what to do, right? Just tell me.
Exactly.
Take it off my shoulders. But being as big and muscular as you are, do people
Mm.
ever assume or maybe not like that you are submissive?
I'd say no. And I would say yes, to be just because before I was on YouTube, people only had my exterior to go by. But now that I've been on YouTube, it's like if you recognize me, you recognize my personality, my flamboyantness, da 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 da. Well, as of late, when people get to know me, they know what they're getting into.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they know you, they hear you talk. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
definitely are a butch queen. It definitely be coming out. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. That's good.
Hmm.
That's good. I think there's been a lot of discourse around like tall bottoms or like
Mm.
just like things like that, right? That people are not connecting with because they want their bottoms to be, small and petite and this and
Mhm.
that. And it's just giving like we're all body types in all positions doing all the things, right?
True,
And
but that's
yeah.
the funny part. In my experience, and I always tell people it's like I'm preferably a top, but even though I'm a top, I'm still submissive. So the men that like approach me, they have strong personalities, and usually, I follow the leader, da 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 da. But they're still the bottom, which is interesting. It's like this short bottom just in charge of this giant top, and I'm just go with the flow.
Yes, yeah. We are the same. I don't want to. You tell me what to do. How should I fuck you? What position? What we doing next? You let me know.
Right,
Should I lay down?
right.
Should I go over there? You need a break? You let me know. Wonderful. Okay. So let's talk about retirement.
Mhm.
You have, lived on both sides as the creator and the commentator. And last time you spoke, you said you were going to retire. Is that still the plan?
Yes, I originally wanted to have my last work trip to Brazil in March, but with everything going on in the world right now, we've decided to push it back to May. So I'm going to go to Brazil. I'm going to do one final content trip before my birthday on May 29th. And I will be there with Raheem Shabazz and we'll do some final work together.
Okay. How old will you be?
I'm turning 30 in May.
You're turning 30. Okay. Okay. Good. I'm like, all right,
Hmm.
great. He's gonna retire before 30. That's so good. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah. You had a good run, Nico. It was great.
Thank you. No, and that's the thing. I always tell people, they're like, "Oh my God, do you regret anything?" I'm like, I got paid to have sex with some of the hottest men in the world. Like, I really
Come
cannot
on.
complain about shit
Come
if I'm
on.
being real. Yeah.
Yeah. You're iconic. You will be forever remembered. People will always be watching this. And yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Okay. Wonderful. So let's play a little game. So I've been going through your tweets as I always do. And I
Okay.
pulled a couple of them that I would love for you to explain a little deeper.
Right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First one is low key. It only takes 2 tequila cranberries for the freak hoe to come out. What made you tweet that, and who was the freak hoe?
I was the freak hoe.
Yeah.
So if you've seen me in nightlife, you've probably seen me doing my thing. Like, I'm like a Dina Howard, if that makes sense. Like, I grew up listening to her music. Freak like me, all that, all that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm very much, if I'm interested, I'm interested. And if I'm
Yeah.
interested, then I want to taste you. And if I want to taste you, we can
Yeah.
do that right here. We can do that in the, anywhere you need it to be.
Yeah.
So when I drink, my inhibitions let go. Because normally I'm very reserved. I'm like, no, I'm cool. One drink later, I start flirting. Two drinks later, we're tongue kissing. It just keeps going
Yep.
like that. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
I love that. Okay, we all know what to get Nico at the bar if you want him to loosen up a little bit. Tequila cranberry. Okay. Next tweet, and this is actually we might spend some time on this one. Are we going to have a conversation about how managing someone else's OnlyFans is essentially just being their pimp? You're managing how they sell their news, sex tapes, and possibly escorting. You are their pimp? Question mark.
Yeah, and that came up because I did a video recently about a content creator who was talking about how he got exposed from being a DL porn star to getting jumped. It was a long story. Point is, he
Yes.
said another content creator was his manager, and I'm like, how do you manage a OnlyFans content creator? Because at the end of the day, we also have to look at how sex work has changed throughout the digital era. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, there were studies done saying that they are no longer on the streets, quote unquote, what is it, the whole stroll or something like that. They are no longer doing that. They're doing digital sex work via OnlyFans and or just for fans, back sites, whatever. Point is, it's safer. It allows the sex worker to have more control over their body. But in that process, if somebody then takes control of your digital accounts, they have the reign on your finances. They are going to take a
Mm.
revenue cut. It's essentially pimping, no? Like it's just the next stage, just like sex
Yeah.
work has evolved with the digital era.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think someone could pimp ethically?
It depends. I actually just recently watched a deep dive video about something called the Bop House, which is like a sex worker thing for heterosexual women. And they talked about a streamer who is essentially a pimp, a digital pimp, and it was more of a controlling dynamic and punishing. And so it still has the capabilities of being used to take advantage of somebody. But I can
Yeah,
also
yeah.
see how it can be beneficial with marketing and exposure.
Yeah, I think it can be done ethically. Will it?
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, will somebody do this right? I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know. So yeah, okay. Good thoughts on that. And then, okay, here's another one. Just text the group chat for the first time in a week to ask them about fisting. So what happened after that?
So this is not what you're thinking. It's it was basically somebody from back home. If he hears this, he's probably going to recognize it. Somebody from back home is basically. I used to tag team them with my homeboys. I think I told you last session that that's my way of
Yes,
bonding.
that's
So
right.
I'm still good friends with the person. Like we still cool. So he has also progressed in his kink, where I still enjoy tag teaming, being watching. He has gotten into fisting, and
Mm,
he's started to send me videos. And at first it was hot, but then it started to get into the actual fisting rather than just like toy play.
okay.
And I personally don't like fisting. So my question to my group chat was, how can I tell him that I still find him attractive and I would like to be intimate, but I actually want him to stop sending me fisting videos?
What a great group chat. Like, what? That is such, like, only you could have written that sentence. Like, how do I make him stop sending me fisting video?
Right, like I'm in too deep. I'm in too deep.
Well, he's trying to get you in too deep, and that's why. So did
Oh my goodness.
did you did you get advice and did you get him to stop?
They did give me advice. I have yet to implement it. The next time we
Okay.
get frisky, I'm going to tell him. But they were basically just like, just be as honest as you were with us. Like, say, I'm still very
Yeah.
much attracted to you and I want to have sex. It's
Yeah.
just, I'm not into that kink.
Yeah. Has he sent you other videos that you do like?
Yeah, no, most definitely. Like we have our own personal tape, we swap tapes, that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm even into the toy play because he sends me dildo videos. It's more so the
Mm-hmm.
fist. I'm not into the plunge. No.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm sure your friends already gave you this advice, but I think if it was me, I would just go hard on the videos I do like. Like, you know that butt plug you
Mm,
use? I love that video. Can you send me more like that? Send me more
that's
of those.
smart.
And that this other video where you did this thing that was so sexy. Send me that, right? And
I'm
then
gonna have to do that.
yeah, because it's giving like you're asking. You're not rejecting him in any way. You're wanting more of him just in a very
Hmm.
specific way, right?
Hmm.
And he can find someone else to send him fisting videos to. I'm sure somebody will be elated to get
True.
those, you know?
True. Very
Yeah.
true. That's actually a really good idea. I might do that one instead. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Good luck. Let me know what happens. Okay, last one. Because we gotta know who this was. 5'6" fine shit said he wanna climb my back. Dot dot dot. Who was it? And did he climb your back?
He did not. He did not. No. It was just a possibility, and just
Okay.
a what did Mariah Carey say? Just a tender fling to nurse my wounds. Lick my
Huh,
wounds
yes.
better.
Yeah, okay. I forgot you're a lamb. You're a lamb. We gotta have a lamb conversation one day. With all that being said, you have tweeted about all these sexual things, but that's not all you tweet about. You also tweet about ICE, Palestine, and how
Yes.
AI is destroying the earth.
Yes.
Why is it important for you to speak on those things?
I feel like as somebody with a platform, because I always approach social media more like a business, but in these times, it's important that you actually speak about the things that you care about, the genocide going on, the illegal war with Iran, yeah, the illegal war with Iran that is decimating the Middle East. It's just so many things that are important that a lot of people don't tend to realize. And I understand that especially on Twitter, an account that usually just makes people laugh, I have a large reach. So if I can use that reach to continue to let people know what's actually going on in the world because of all the propaganda being done, I'm going to have to do that. It's getting
That's
to the
right.
time where you have to actually use your voice.
Yeah, yes, yes. And I thank you for that because guess what? You don't have to, right? You don't have
Hmm.
to. And most people don't because they don't
Hmm.
have to. And it takes a lot of courage to stand up for what you believe in, to stand up for other people, to redirect their focus when all they want to do is see your dick all the time, right?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage to do that. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So we are at the end. Is there anything else That's heavy on your mind before we go.
I know it's cold right now, but summer is coming fast. Use the deodorant with aluminum.
With aluminum. Okay, get that aluminum in them pores, baby, because we can
Mm-hmm.
smell it a mile away, and you in New York, so I know you can smell it.
It
Because
be hot.
when it gets hot and humid in New York, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it takes over. Okay, yes, wear deodorant. Wear deodorant. Be respectful. Approach Nico with respect in the club. Give him tequila cranberry. Do you want to plug your socials so people can find you?
Social media is Nico's Aesthetics across all platforms. If you go on Twitter and you just want to hear my commentary, Nico's Aesthetic. And if you like me in a more sexual, super fly, sexy kind of way, you can check out I have Aesthetics on not YouTube, on Twitter. Sorry, that's where I put all my previews for my movies. I have one movie in the chamber that I'm probably going to debut more soon since my trip got pushed back, and I'll just continue to drip feed things out. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think this will be out in May, like early May. Yes, I think May 5th is your date, the first weekend in May. So yeah, it'll be out then. I will let you know about it. I'll let you collab if you like. If you don't want to, don't collab. So it's up to you.
Of
And
course.
that's it. Thank you, Nico, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, peace.